Aloha, I'm Gerard Elmore, and welcome to another episode of Hawaii's Real Stories. In today's show, we take a look at feature films shot in Hawaii. We go behind the scenes of Under the Blood Red Sun and interview director Tim Savage and director of photography Sean Hyatt. We talk with director James Serino on the making of Man Up. Dean Hamer and Joe Wilson talk about their decision to make Kumu Hina as a feature-length documentary. In our flashback segment, we remember Goodbye Paradise, starring Joe Moore. First, we go to Tim Savage and Sean Hyatt on Under the Blood Red Sun.
Mama, Japanese planes. They're bombing us. We saw them in the trees. Tommy, run!
It's my Jap shooter. You watch your step.
The reason we felt strongly about turning Under the Blood Red Sun into a film was because it talks about a time in our history that it's important to pass on to the younger generation. There are lessons there that we want to learn now so that we don't repeat them. The author, Graham Salisbury, writes in a way that really paints the picture. So you really get a sense of where they are and what they're doing and how it looks and how it feels. 1940s Hawaii looks very different than it does today. So everything the camera saw, everything within our frame had to look of that time.
The locations were actually really fun, and there's so many times when you would just get chicken skin because you see the actors and they're doing their bit, and it just feels really real. A lot of times we'd have to use just a little corridor of what you would see down a street, so you wouldn't see the brand new high-rise that's there now.
We were fortunate to find a couple of locations that really stood in for much of the film. All of the interiors were filmed at the Hawaii Plantation Village in Waipahu. And they were super gracious in letting us come in and do what we needed to do in order to turn that into a back lot. And then we've been all over the island. We were out in Ka'ava, up in Nu'uanu. We've been all over telling the story.
Hey, speak English.
That time period and that moment in history is really pretty fascinating. It's a Hawaii story, it's an American story, and from that point when that attack happened, it changed everything into the modern world that we are in now.
And cut. All right, let's check it.
When we can tell stories about things that are just around the corner from history, setting the characters in these situations is really fascinating to me.
Working with Sean was one of the easiest parts of this entire process because we can really shorthand conversations and he knows exactly what to do, and even if I didn't know exactly what I wanted, he would just bring it to life in a very artistic, beautiful, visceral, emotional way.
He and I both worked together really well and collaborated on the look to give it really very natural. So sometimes it's a matter of taking away the light rather than creating the light.
We were really going after a fairly naturalistic look that had a nice stylistic polish to it, just enough to really turn it into a beautiful looking feature film, but not so much that it wouldn't look real.
Gotta put that flag away, Grandpa.
We Japanese.
No, Grandpa. American.
The vast majority of our cast was local, and we knew that if we didn't find the right boy to play this role, our film was not going to go anywhere. So it really wasn't until we found Kyler Sakamoto that I had confidence that we were going to be able to pull this off. This is a picture where it really is a family. It's a community coming together that's supporting a project that we all believe in, and we believe in one another. We believe in the material. Without that family, this picture just wouldn't have been made.
With the short amount of time that we had, we could put down multiple cameras all in the same scene to cover things quickly. So it's really just finding the angles that tell the story the best.
We made a decision to go with the Canon 5D Mark III, which is probably not most filmmakers' first choice. I had worked with it before and knew that the image was very beautiful, but the other thing that was driving our decision was mobility, the size. We were going to be working in very tight quarters in our interior shots, and we were going to have to get several cast members, several crew members plus all of the equipment in one small room. That was a tough decision because I can't really tell you that Sean fully agreed with that.
It was very, very challenging as a system to work with. It could be quite small. It was very tight, but we were able to get to squeeze everything in the location.
The reactions so far have been overwhelming. I gotta tell you, very gratified in doing a screening, getting the kind of feedback you can only hope for. People laughing where they should be laughing, people coming up to us and the entire cast after the showing, and everybody just pouring their heart out. They relate to the material, people loving the story and the way it was done. I mean, just from all facets, we really couldn't have been happier.
Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Sir, we've been waiting for you.
I am the world's most interesting man, the second cousin twice removed. My life is so filled with adventure and romance, and sometimes I just need to unwind. And there is no better place to unwind than the Fairmont Orchid Hawaii's spa without walls. I don't always go to film festivals, but when I do, I prefer the Big Island Film Festival at the Fairmont Orchid Hawaii.
We're ready for you, sir.
Stay thirsty for films, my friend.
Join us for great family films and the most entertaining and thought-provoking films from Hawaii and around the world. The Big Island Film Festival at the Fairmont Orchid Hawaii.
Here's James Sereno on Making Man Up.
You have got to start thinking about the future.
I hate the F word. Don't say it ever again.
I'm pregnant.
I'm pregnant. I'm 3 months pregnant.
Hina, man up.
When we finished up post-production on Hang Loose, Justin Chon and Kevin Wu, who worked on the film, enjoyed working together. So they actually started writing another movie, brought it to me and said, we want to shoot it here in Hawaii because we love the experience and we want to do it with Kinetic Again. Kevin and Justin starred in the film, 2 high school friends who live here in Hawaii, and Kevin gets his Mormon girlfriend pregnant.
I'm 19. You know why I'm not in college, right? Because it's really expensive. It's like tens of thousands of dollars. I read a news report on the news that said college is expensive. And I planned out a boat trip, okay? With you, with me, with Randall, and I bought these new swim trunks, okay?
Mark, just shut up!
We gotta learn how to take care of kids and play with them. Well, we don't have kids. That's why we're gonna find some. Where are we gonna find kids? Just play with me.
What the hell are you doing? Get away from my kid.
Ow!
Hey, let's get out!
When I said, okay, let's make the movie, they called and said, we're coming to Hawaii. And a week later, Justin, Kevin, the DP, the AD all landed at the airport and said, we're here. They literally moved here for about 3 months. And they all got hands-on, and they were here at our office pretty much every day, and we started to break down the script, plan it out, make a schedule, do location scouting and everything, and they were involved from the beginning. We brought in some key local people to come in. It was really sort of a best of 2 worlds coming together to sort of make this film.
I'm the man Jack Dog, move like Kazam, kick them in their face, move like Van Damme. Here we go ham, pick 'em up slam, and we living in Hawaii, we burn 'cause we tan. Man, don't give up, and we might get the guns, cause a rock us. Yeah, and we Asian, and that's just a plus, 'cause we can do anything better, don't be racist.
Justin actually plays a character that's completely not him. He's a little out of control, a big personality, from one point of view very unsympathetic, and Justin's far from that. Kevin actually played a version of the Kev Jumba, but He even took it a little bit further. There's elements of it that is consistent with the Jumba character. He has the Mormon girlfriend. But what these two guys wanted to do was create these personas that were just a little different. Whenever we do our films, we try and empower the local crew, the local community. We had a lot of people working on locations. It was shot all on Oahu, so there's some scenes in Waikiki and Mililani at different houses, and it was very, very important that Hawaii was this setting. It is not the stereotypical Hawaii from the outside-in point of view, but the inside-out point of view of kind of where we live and how we are. So, you know, it was an interesting challenge to put it together because it was a really tight budget, but we had a lot of locations. We had a lot of scenes because Justin and Kevin saw big film. We shot with the Red, a two-camera style. Our crew was entirely local. We were able to bring in some people from the mainland who were keys, and together, in the spirit of collaboration, I think both sides sort of came together and worked really, really well. Our style of doing things in Hawaii hopefully comes through in the finished product.
Dude, just take the beating. Just take it like a man.
Marty! Marty! Dad? Marty! Come. Hey, son. Hey.
I see you made it through the night. Good job.
Thanks, I think. Is Mom still pissed?
Very mad. Be careful. She will destroy you. She says she's gonna shove a pineapple up your butt. Take this. I have put some clothes and games in there for you.
Dad, I'm sorry for all this. I'm only 19, okay? I made a mistake. Why can't I come home?
Marty, people make mistakes. Do happen. Make Madison pregnant? Come on. Ow.
Yeah, come on.
Dad. You practically ended your childhood. Here's something to help. Okay. Do you have a place to stay?
Yeah, you can stay with me.
Good, Randall. You're a true friend.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
The envelope is from Madison. She dropped off this morning. Luckily, I was the one answering the door.
Thanks, Dad.
Son, this is going to be a very important decision in your life. You need to do what you think is right. Don't worry about us. Screw Mom, okay?
Thanks for your wisdom.
Yeah. Come on, go.
We're really proud of what we put together, and again, you know, hopefully it's another successful, fun movie that we come out with. Once the film is done, we'll get it out there and it'll do a festival run. You know, we'll see where it goes from there, whether it has a digital life or a theatrical run. Hopefully people will get to see it really soon, you know, online or in a theater.
You got another seat coming, you! Man up!
We'll be right back.
DJ Design, Asian-inspired clothing and decor, using indigenous techniques and natural materials designed to appeal to Western tastes. Unique pieces created to support fair trade, sustainable resources, and charitable organizations. And DJ Design, located in the heart of Kaimuki at 3449 Waialae Avenue. Call 734-3377.
Join us for great family films and the most entertaining and thought-provoking films from Hawaii and around the world. The Big Island Film Festival at the Fairmont Orchid, Hawaii.
Now to Dean Hamer and Joe Wilson on Kumu Hina.
I met Hina sort of by accident. She was a good friend of a very good friend of ours, and when I started hearing about the wonderful work she was doing at her school to use culture to empower the young kids in her little school in Kaliki, I thought, oh, that's an interesting story. And then she told me that she had met a young man in Tonga and that she was going to go pick him up and bring him home. And I thought, wow, that's really something. The reason why is that Hina used to be a young boy named Colin. She's a Mahu, or a transgender woman. And so while there are many Mahu and many transgender people, the idea of one getting married and bringing home their husband, that was something really, really fascinating. And a month later, Hina and I were on a plane going to Fiji, where she reunited with her husband, and we just started filming from there on.
To create change, it takes an entire community. It takes people on all sides of the issues to help create space where people don't have to hide or feel like they will experience discrimination. So when we met Hina, we really saw things through a very different lens. A person who in her own community is a very empowered person, she's a community leader, and somebody a lot of people look up to. And we saw her and her story as a different way to look at a question of when a community is facing challenges, how do you overcome those challenges? Well, in the Hawaiian context, people who might be excluded elsewhere have been historically embraced.
I guess the biggest challenge was not to superimpose our own experiences and our own belief system and our own thoughts about things, and just let people speak for themselves.
Ai ka mumu ke na ke pa hoi hoi ke. Ai ka mumu ke. Ai ka mumu ke. No. Listen to my voice. There's nothing wahine about my voice. It's too thick and it's too low. Ai ka mumu ke na ke pa hoi hoi ke.
Our style of documentary is called verite. We're really just like a fly on the wall. We follow our characters around. We try to film as often as we can. There's no script, there's no interviews. We just follow the story. The wonderful thing about this is that it allows the film to really unfold in a natural sort of way. It's real reality TV. The scary thing is that you don't know where the story is going to go. You don't know if it's going to have a beginning and a middle and an end. So you're a bit at the whim of what happens in real life. We started thinking it was going to be about her relationship with her new husband, but in her school, as she was preparing the young boys for their end of year performance, a 6th grade girl walked into class and said, "Let me try that." And as it turned out, that little girl, whose name is Ho'onani, took over the class, became not just a great chanter, but a leader. And so the whole story unfolded and reaches a really natural climax at the end of the year when she leads the boys into the performance in front of the entire community. The most surprising scene in the film was when Hina invited us to come to Hawaii with her, way out in the country. Her Mahu friends there are just feeding the pigs, and there's wild goats running around the house, and it was just a crazy and wonderful and magnificent scene. I just had no idea that there was anything like that here in Hawaii. What we're really hoping is to use it as an educational tool that will allow people to realize that there's a different way of treating differences. It's the Hawaiian way. It's a way that involves aloha, respect for all, and that this will really be like a model, because questions about gender are rising all the time now.
Hina calls it actually creating a place in the middle. So our educational and engagement campaign is going to be called A Place in the Middle.
I'm fortunate to live in a place that allows me to love who I love. I can be whoever I want to be. That's what I hope most to leave with my students. A genuine understanding of unconditional acceptance and respect. To me, that's the true meaning of aloha.
And we'll be right back. Here's Dennis Christensen on making Goodbye Paradise in 1992.
We shot Goodbye Paradise in 1991, cut it and released it in 92. And it's amazing just how much the entire independent film world has changed since then. There was no computer editing, there was no Avid, there was no Final Cut Pro. There was no internet, there was no email. I have to feel grandfatherly looking back on it. The times have changed so much. Looking back now, our motivation for making Goodbye Paradise was alarmingly naive. We just wanted to tell a story about contemporary Hawaii that wasn't what everything else was at that time coming out of Hawaii, which was Jake and the Fat Man and Magnum P.I. and the occasional Love Boat. It was really born of a desire just to tell a simple, honest story about contemporary Hawaii, in this case, Chinatown. You'd walk through Chinatown back then and you'd still hear the click of mahjong tiles up in the second floor apartments and so on. Joe Moore and I had been working together for 10 years at that point. We had met working at the NBC affiliate here and had done a few little small projects together, and had always said, wouldn't it be great to do a film? Wouldn't it be great to do a movie? Joe had done a lot of acting at that point on the series that came through, but Joe does a very nice performance, and we had a really great cast. Pat Morita, just recently nominated for Karate Kid. James Hong played Cook, and he had already had a 25, 30-year career in film, and he's still acting. I still see him in film. Danny Kamikona, terrific actor who had been a character actor in Hollywood for years and years. We had some really good local theatrical actors, some of whom hadn't done much film before. Richard Valles, and one great role was played by the late Ray Bumentai, who was a tremendous actor. I loved working with Ray.
Hey, I'll show you how much I'm gonna miss you. Girls! Oh, Joe, how much we're gonna miss you. Come on! Come on, Joe, lighten up, huh?
We had a very young Megan Ward, who was just beginning her career, had just moved up to Hollywood to start work there, and has gone on to have a very nice career in film and especially television. And then most of all, Elisa Dulce, who is a brilliant actress. Elisa was wonderful opposite Joe.
You listen to me, Joe Martin. It's not your fault. You don't carry the world on your shoulders. It's not your job. No one's looking for you to be a hero, Joe. Just do what you know how to do. Just be decent, Joe. And you can't go too far wrong.
It was just a great ensemble group of people that we worked with, and it's always a challenge in Hawaii, pulling the cast together. The entire film is set in a bar, and plan was we'd go out and we'd find maybe a bar that had closed or was vacant. One of the things I learned about the economy back then, and I think it's still true, there's no such thing as a bar that's closed. As soon as one bar closes, someone else takes it over. So we couldn't really find a location, so we thought, well, let's build a four-wall set. The old Hawaii Five-0 soundstage was the only soundstage here then. So we came upon a solution, and we actually built our entire four-wall set inside Diamond Head Theater. That became our studio for 2.5 weeks of shooting. The story is about the closing night of a 50-year-old bar in Chinatown that had gone through the World War II era of Hotel Street, seedier years that followed, and this is the closing night before it's going to be gentrified into something fancier for nicer folk.
For God's sake, you don't think they might be a little overdressed, do you?
Young probably told everybody the TV cameras would be here.
If they dress that color, the TV cameras couldn't miss if they tried.
The film was co-produced and co-directed by Tim Savage and myself. An unusual arrangement, but it worked for us. We've been working together in documentaries and commercials for some time. The script was written by myself and Susan Colleen. Renee Confair was our line producer. The film was shot by Graham Driscoll. Really a beautiful job of shooting. Got nice notices in Variety for the shooting of the film. A lot of the people that are still working, who are the mainstream crew of today, only back then they were a lot earlier in their careers, and so it was a great little family. The film enjoyed some success. I was selected for the Asian American Film Showcase in San Francisco. was selected for the Cannes Independent Film Showcase, and it enjoyed some distribution. We used to get checks from Paraguay and Turkey. It broke even. Pretty much a rousing success for an independent film. Typical is you lose everything. So we'll call breaking even a success. It is truly a labor of love. And technology has made it a lot easier. It's made it a lot cheaper. You can go out and shoot a feature on a high def, on a camera that costs $15,000, and you can cut it on your home computer and have it transferred over. And you can do so much more with so much less. I wish I could roll time back 20 years and take another shot. Who knows? Maybe we've got another movie in us one of these days.
Be sure to join us next week for a new show on short films. Kathleen Mann directed Lychee Thieves, an original story that could only have been set in Hawaii. Erin Lau reveals how she made little girls' war cry in the Cook Islands. Robert and Daniel Pilecki take us behind the scenes of the Samoan fable Malanga. In our flashback segment, Brett Wagner takes us behind the scenes of Chief, a short film shot on Oahu that went on to the Sundance Film Festival. And that's it for this week's episode of Hawaii's Real Stories. Until next week, a hui hou.